Let's solve together 7 chess.com daily puzzles for the week of April 21st. Let's see if we can do 7 of 7. Monday's puzzle, black to move. We have definitely a weak king on a1 and need to checkmate it. Queen a2 doesn't work because the rook is here. Rook takes a3 doesn't work because the bishop is protecting that pawn. So the only forcing move, and forcing moves are checks and captures, I see is b2 pawn check. And I think that would do it. b2, correct. King a2, and now we promote to a queen, and it would be double check, which is a checkmate. And that's Monday. We did well. Tuesday, black to move. There's a battery of the bishop and the queen, and it would be nice to checkmate the white king on a square h2. The problem here is the knight on f3, and we definitely have to deflect it. The pieces that should be participating in this combination are the queen, the bishop, and the knight. Everything else is too far away from the action. I like the move knight d4. What we'll achieve by this move is that we're gonna deflect the knight from f3. If knight takes our knight on d4, then it's a checkmate. If bishop takes our knight on d4, then we take the queen. And if knight takes the queen, then we take the queen with the check, and then we take the knight on e5 and have an extra piece. I think that's a solution. Let's try. Knight d4, that's good. Now we take the queen with the check, very important, and now we take the knight. And we solved Tuesday puzzle, and we're going to Wednesday. A queen, a rook, and a bishop against a queen, a rook, and a bishop. And the bishop is very active and providing some help if we want to checkmate the opposing king. Everything else seems to be protected in black's position, so it has to be some ideas of a checkmate. And the forcing moves here would be probably queen d5 check. That's one opportunity. But then I don't see any continuation after king h8. If king goes to h8 after the check, I really don't see another move. What if we take the bishop with the rook, then queen takes c7, and then we check, and after king goes to h8, then we check from a8. And that looks good to me. That looks good to me. Let's try it. Rook takes c7. Yes. Queen d5 check. Yes. This move we didn't consider, but I think the idea remains the same. We need to check the opposing king from a8. And here we have a checkmate on f8. Good job. We did 3 out of 3. Thursday puzzle. White to move. The king is in the middle of the board. Definitely not well protected. Black has an extra rook, so winning material back will not do us any good. And also good to know that black do not have a single check. So we don't have to make a forcing move right now. We don't have to check. We don't have to capture anything. And I would like to checkmate the opposing king either here or here with the queen and helping with the help of the bishop. What is on the way? The knight on f6. And I think it's the same idea as in the previous puzzle. We need to deflect that knight. And I like the move knight g8. Because if knight takes on g8, then we simply checkmate on d8. And if it doesn't take us on g8, then there is a threat of checkmate on e7. The other way to deflect that knight would be to go knight g4, but it doesn't create many threats. So I like knight g7, knight g8, and let's try that, and that's a correct move. And after knight takes g8, we simply have a check. Thursday is done. We have 4 out of 4. Now the puzzles are gonna be more difficult closer to the end of the week. We have a Friday puzzle, April 25th. Black to move. Black is without a queen, without a rook. So definitely we need to checkmate the opposing king, because we can take a rook on h1. That doesn't probably solve the issue, because we're still gonna be without a queen. So we need to find a checkmate. The first move has to be with the knight. It has to be with the knight to check the king by the bishop. I like very much this bishop on a6 because it slices white's position all the way and doesn't allow the white king to go to either e2 or f1. Knight on e7 and rook on h8 will not be participating in this puzzle. They're too far away from white's king. So the candidates move, we have basically any jump of the knight. It can jump to h3, to e4, and win back the queen. But I don't think that would be a solution, because even winning the queen, black would be without an exchange. So material advantage for white is so dramatic that, again, I'm sure we need to checkmate here. And how we're gonna do it is the question. So where to jump with the knight? No matter where we jump with the knight, the next move for white would be forced. The king would have to go to d1. And from where we can checkmate it? It would be nice to checkmate with the bishop on e2. But there is no support of that bishop unless we find it somehow, that support. I like to jump with the knight to a square d3. The reason I want to jump there, because after king d1 we have a beautiful checkmate, knight b2. Now, if after knight d3 check, it's a double check by the way, if the king goes to f1 and e2, well, we're gonna come up with something. So let's try it. Knight d3, and that's not correct. Then let's try to grab the knight. Knight takes g4, and that's turned out to be a correct move. So we're halfway there. We have to check the king again, I'm sure. Let's do that. Knight f2 check, king goes back. Why don't we just take a rook on h1, then come back to f2 with a check, and then we'll take the queen. But we just need to win material, not to checkmate the opposing king. Let's try that. Knight takes h1, that's correct. Another check from f2, correct. And let's win the queen. And knight h3 will not work because queen just will take the bishop on g3. So we have to protect the bishop. Knight e4 check. And now we take queen. And instead of a checkmate, we needed to win material here, which was interesting. And let's go to Saturday. Saturday puzzle. Black to move. Rook against rook, queen against queen, two knights against two knights. White have an extra bishop. Every time I see knights on the board, I would like to do something along the lines of a smothered checkmate, but I don't see exactly how we can accomplish it here. One move that comes to mind is just to take the knight on c3 and then to check on e2 with the other knight. Does it accomplish much? Not really. Another check is from h3. And that might be interesting actually, because if pawn takes the knight, then we can transfer the queen all the way to g6 and possibly create some mating ideas. Or at least not the mating ideas, but to win the queen with discovery. And I think that's pretty much should do it. Let's do it. Knight h3 check. Yes. Queen, long move. Queen g6 check. Yes. And now we're using this skewer discovery attack. Check with the knight and taking the queen. All right. Saturday puzzle is done. We're 5 out of 6. We solved the previous one too, but not right away. And we have Sunday's puzzle, and usually Sundays are the most difficult ones. And here we have a very dangerously looking white king. It's black to move. We basically almost checkmating that king, but the bishop is on the way, and we cannot checkmate with the move queen g2 because the bishop would simply capture our queen. So we have to do something about this bishop. I don't think there is anything else we can do here. The other option is queen g1 checkmate. Would have been a checkmate if there was no rook on b1, but I don't see how we can possibly remove or deflect the rook from b1. So we have to do something about the bishop on f3. The other thing to consider here, black king is totally safe and there are no checks for white. So we don't have to hurry here. We can take our time and actually make a move that would not be even forcing. One of those moves we can consider is bishop g1 to checkmate on h2, but after rook takes g1, I don't see much in terms of continuation there. The other problem we have is that the rook on d7 is out of the game and will not be able to quickly participate in the attack. It needs too many moves, and the square d5 is also protected by this nasty bishop that doesn't allow us to do anything. The only thing I see here is that the knight on d4 is protecting the bishop on f3. And if we eliminate the knight on d4, we can take the bishop on f3. I don't think it would be that easy, so there would be some hidden icebergs on our way, but I think that should be the first move. Let's try it. The rook takes d4, and that's not correct. What if we just threaten a checkmate with the move bishop f1? It will force white to take with the rook. After that, we can force another. We can play bishop g1 and threaten another checkmate on h3. I think I like this idea because I honestly do not see anything else. Okay, let's try. I'm not sure. Bishop f1. Yes, wow. Rook takes f1. Then it has to be my other move. Bishop g1. If that's correct, that's great. Yes, rook f2. Okay. What do we do now? There is no checkmate here. There is a check from h3. The king would take the bishop on g1. Let's just continue grabbing pieces. Queen takes f2. And that's not correct. So we have to come up with something better. Oh, let's capture it with the bishop. Yeah, bishop takes f2. Yes. Okay. We're not allowed to checkmate here, but we're allowed to checkmate here. Great. We solved it. That wasn't easy. So again, we did 5 out of 7. Not bad. We pretty much solved one more puzzle, but on the second attempt. And we solved this one making 2 mistakes. And hopefully you can write me in the comments if you were able to solve all 7. Especially I'm interested in the last one, because the last one seemed to me like a really, really tough puzzle. Thank you for watching. If you like the content, please hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment. A lot more content on this channel, and I will be happy to see you again.